Ladies, let me tell you something. If a man can go 3 days without hearing from you and feel nothing, I need you to hear me clearly. That is not him being busy. That is not him needing space. That is a man who has never been given a reason to miss you. And today, I'm going to hand you that reason. 3 words. That's all it takes. 3 little words that slip past every wall a man has ever built, land right in the center of his chest, and start playing on a loop in his mind at 2 in the morning. Not I love you. Baby, men hear I love you all the time, and it slides right off them like rain off a windshield. Not I miss you. Not I want you. It's something almost no woman says, because nobody ever taught her what a man is actually starving for. And once you say these 3 words the right way, at the right moment, something shifts in him that he cannot control, cannot explain, and cannot shut off. Now sit down, pour your coffee, because I'm going to break this down for you the way nobody in your life has ever broken it down. And by the time we're done, you're going to understand men better than most men understand themselves. But before I give you the words, I need you to understand why they work. Because words without understanding are just noise. And sister, you have made enough noise for men who weren't listening. It's time to speak in a language his soul actually hears. See, here's what most women believe, and I don't blame you for believing it, because the whole world taught you this. You believe a man stays for beauty. You believe a man stays for what happens in the bedroom. You believe a man stays because you cook, because you're loyal, because you're convenient, because you don't ask for too much. And I'm not saying those things don't matter. I'm saying they are not the hook. They are not the thing that makes a man lie awake at night, replaying a conversation. They are not the thing that makes him check his phone, put it down, pick it back up, and check it again. I know you've lived this. It's 11:47 at night. You're lying in bed, and your phone lights up, and your whole body jumps before your mind even catches up. And it's him. After 5 days of silence, it's him saying, "Wid," and here's the part that breaks my heart every single time. You're not angry. You're relieved. Your fingers are already typing before your dignity can even get a word in. Because for 5 days, you have been starving for one crumb of proof that you cross his mind at all. Sister, that ache has a name. That ache is called being forgettable to a man you cannot forget. And I need you to hear me when I say this. It is not because you are forgettable. It is because nobody ever handed you the keys to the room in his mind where a woman lives permanently. Tonight, I am handing you those keys. Let me break down what's really happening inside his mind, because this is the part they don't teach you. Not your mama, not your girlfriends, not the movies, not the love songs. A man does not bond the way a woman bonds. You bond through connection, through conversation, through being known. He bonds through one thing and one thing only, and it is the most guarded secret of the male heart. A man bonds through feeling like he matters to the woman he wants. Not through her needing him for his money. Not through her needing him for protection. Through her seeing something in him that he is terrified nobody will ever see. Every man you have ever met is walking around with a quiet secret question burning a hole in his chest. And that question is not, am I rich enough? It is not, am I handsome enough? The question is, does anybody believe in the man I'm trying to become? His father probably never answered that question for him. His boss sure doesn't. His friends are competing with him. The whole world grades him on what he produces. And then you come along and you grade him on what he provides. And baby, you just became one more report card in a life full of report cards. Now hear me on this. I am not blaming you. You were never told. You were told to look good, to be sweet, to keep him happy, to not be too much. Nobody sat you down and said, sister, the way into a man's permanent memory is not through his eyes or his stomach. It is through the locked door in his chest, where he keeps the boy he used to be and the man he's praying he becomes. And there are 3 words that open that door. 3 words that, once spoken with sincerity, echo in a man for years. I have watched grown men, hard men, men with beards and bank accounts and brick wall faces go soft in the eyes, repeating 3 words a woman said to them 15 years ago. 15 years, ladies. 1 sentence. Still echoing. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You've seen it. You've seen a woman who was not the prettiest woman in the room, not the youngest, not the one with the most going on paper. And yet some man orbited her like she was the sun itself. And everybody whispered, what does he see in her? I will tell you what he sees in her. He sees the one place on earth where he feels like a king without having to conquer anything first. That woman, whether she knew it or not, was speaking the 3 words. Now, I can feel some of you getting impatient. Just tell me the words. I will. But I promised you transformation, not trivia. If I hand you a sentence without rebuilding the ground underneath it, you'll say it once. It will fall flat because you don't believe it yet. And you'll decide it doesn't work. It works. It has worked since the first woman ever looked at the first man and saw more in him than he saw in himself. So let me take you deeper, because once you understand the machinery, you will never again waste your magic on a man who hasn't earned it. And you will never again be silent with a man who has. Let me tell you about a woman I know. Let's call her Maya. Maya was 36, beautiful, successful, the kind of woman who walks into a room and the temperature changes. And Maya came to me confused because she had been dating a man named Andre for 8 months and she could feel him drifting, not cheating, not lying, just drifting the way a boat drifts when nobody has dropped an anchor. She said, I don't understand it. I cook for this man. I look good for this man. I support him. I don't nag. I don't pressure him. What else is there? And I asked Maya one question. I said, when Andre talks about the thing he's building, that business he's been grinding on for 2 years, what do you say? And she got quiet. She said, I tell him that's nice. I tell him I hope it works out. I said, baby, you just told me everything. I hope it works out is what you say about the weather. I hope it works out is what you say about a casserole. That man is out there every day fighting a war nobody claps for. And the woman he loves is grading his dream like a side dish. Maya's eyes filled up because she knew. She had never once, not one time in 8 months, told that man she believed in him. Not because she didn't, because nobody told her that's the language men keep forever. Hold on to Maya. We're coming back to her. Because what she did next, with exactly 3 words, changed everything. And I want you to see it happen in real time. But first, let's go deeper into the machinery, because I want you to understand this so well that you could teach it to your daughter, your niece, your best friend who's crying on your couch right now. Here is the first truth, and I need you to write this one on your heart. A man does not fall in love with what you do for him. He falls in love with who he gets to be around you. Read that again in your spirit. Every woman is out here competing on doing, cooking more, giving more, tolerating more, texting more. And the women who win, the women who get thought about nonstop, are competing on something entirely different. They are curating the version of himself that a man experiences in their presence. When a man is around a woman who makes him feel 10 feet tall, he does not become addicted to her. He becomes addicted to himself around her. And since he can only get that feeling near her, guess where he keeps coming back? Guess whose face shows up uninvited in his mind during meetings, during traffic, during his cousin's barbecue? You see it now, don't you? This is why the prettiest woman gets left and the plain woman gets worshipped. This is why he chased you for 3 months and went cold after you gave him everything. This is why we had such a great connection turned into he just stopped calling. Because connection is not the glue. Connection is the doorway. The glue is significance. The glue is a man feeling in his marrow that in your eyes, he is already the man he hopes to God he becomes. And there is one sentence, 3 words, that delivers that feeling more directly than anything else in the English language. Now here's where most women mess up before they even start. They hear make him feel significant and they translate it into worship. They start complimenting his shoes, his arms, his car, baby. No. Compliments about what a man has bounced off him like ping pong balls. He has heard nice truck 1,000 times. It costs nothing to say and it means nothing to hear. What a man has never heard, what stops his heart mid-beat, is a woman speaking to his character and his future. Not you look good, not you're so smart. Something deeper, something that tells him she sees the blueprint, not just the building. Let me tell you about the male ego, because everybody uses that word and almost nobody understands it. The male ego is not arrogance. Arrogance is the costume. The ego is the engine. A man's ego is the furnace that every single ambition he has ever had gets burned in. It is why he works the overtime. It is why he flinches when you correct him in public. It is why he cannot let himself fail in front of a woman he respects. And here is the secret that the women who get worshipped all know, whether by instinct or by accident. That furnace runs on one fuel. Not sex, not admiration, not obedience. It runs on being believed in by a woman whose opinion he actually values. When that fuel is present, a man will move furniture with his bare hands. He will build businesses, fix his credit, apologize to his mama, learn to communicate, become somebody he barely recognizes, and he will credit her for all of it while insisting he did it himself. When that fuel is absent, the same man becomes a stranger on your couch, remote in hand, soul in neutral. You can cook for him, cry for him, pray for him, and he will sit there like a radio between stations. Because the woman in his house is speaking a language that does not reach the furnace. So now the question becomes, what is the fuel made of? What exact words pour gasoline on that fire? Sister, we are getting there. And I promise you, when I give you the 3 words, part of you is going to say, that's it? That's too simple. And I need you to fight that thought, because the most powerful truths on this earth are always simple. I forgive you is simple. I do is simple. The words that change a life are never long. They are just true, and they are aimed at exactly the right spot. Before I say them, I want to show you what happens inside a man when he hears them, because the psychology is everything. When a man desires looks at him and speaks belief over him, 3 things happen in his mind in this exact order. First, disbelief. He has been graded his whole life. He is braced for the fine print, the but, the catch. So the first thing he does is scan your face for the joke. This lasts about 2 seconds. Second, exposure. This is the moment that changes men forever. Something cracks open in him because nobody, not his boys, not his boss, maybe not even his mama, has ever said it to him as a grown man with grown stakes. He feels seen in a place he keeps locked. And a man will never forget the person who saw him in the locked room. Never. Not at 30, not at 60, not on his deathbed. Third, imprinting. This is the part that answers your title. The part that makes him think about you nonstop. Once a man associates a woman with the feeling of being believed in, his brain starts tagging her as the source. Every time he faces something hard, and men face something hard every single day, his mind reaches for the fuel. And the fuel has your face on it. Your voice becomes the voice in his head. Not because you nagged your way in, because you lit his way in. He cannot think about his goals without thinking about you, because you stitched yourself into the moment he first believed they were possible. That is not manipulation, sister. That is not a trick. That is simply what happens when a human being meets the person who makes them feel possible. Men just feel it more violently than we do because they get it so rarely and because they are trained from boyhood to never admit they need it. Now, here is the warning, and I need you to hear this part with both ears, because it will save you from wasting your magic. These 3 words only work when they are true, and they only land on a man who has shown you something worth believing in. If you say them to a man who has given you nothing but potential and excuses, you are not inspiring him. You are anointing a stranger. You are handing the crown to a man who hasn't built a kingdom. And baby, he will wear it to the next woman's house. The 3 words are not medicine for a sick relationship. They are coronation for a man who is already in motion. Do not confuse the two. A man in motion deserves your belief. A man in excuses deserves your silence and your standards. How do you tell the difference? Watch his Tuesdays. Not his words, not his promises, his Tuesdays. A man in motion does something small toward his future on ordinary days. He makes the call. He sends the email. He saves the $50. He takes the class. It does not have to be big. It has to be real. A man in excuses talks about his future the way other men talk about heaven. Sounds beautiful. No one's seen it. No movement required. You speak belief over the first man, you will watch him turn into a giant with your name carved in the foundation. You speak belief over the second man, you will become his audience, and audiences get replaced the moment the show gets old. All right. You have waited long enough, and you have earned it. Sit up straight. The 3 magic words are, I believe in you. Now, don't you dare exhale and say, that's it. I watched you just now. Some of you felt your eyes sting, and you don't even know why. I'll tell you why. Because some part of you remembered what it would have felt like if someone had said it to you at the exact moment you needed it most. That sting you just felt, that is the size of the hole these words are filled. And men carry that same hole, bigger and deeper, and nobody is out here filling it. I believe in you. 4 little syllables. But sister, each word is a key turning in, not different, lock. And I'm going to take them apart one at a time, because the way you say them matters as much as the words themselves. Start with I. That word is doing more work than you know. When you say, I believe in you, you are not reporting that somebody somewhere thinks he's all right. You are staking your own name on him. You are a woman he respects, a woman whose judgment he trusts, a woman he wants to impress. And you are stepping forward personally and saying, my eyes have examined you, and my verdict is belief. Men are surrounded by vague goodwill their whole lives. Good luck, bro. Hope it works out. That's what's up. It is weather. It is wallpaper. But I believe from one specific woman, that is a signature on a contract. That is somebody with something to lose, putting it on the line. And because men understand risk better than they understand feelings, the personal stake is what makes it real to him. You didn't say you'll do great. You said, I believe. You put yourself in the sentence. That's why it lands like a hammer wrapped in velvet. Now, the second word, and this is the engine of the whole thing, believe. Not hope, not think, not wish, believe. Hope is passive. Hope sits on the porch and watches the sky. Belief is active. Belief has already seen the future and come back to report it. When you tell a man, I hope you get that promotion, you have politely informed him that the outcome is in doubt. When you tell a man, I believe you're going to get that promotion, you have told him the verdict is already in, and he just hasn't caught up to it yet. Men organize their entire lives around what they think is possible. And you, with one word, just expanded what is possible. You moved the horizon. And here is the delicious part, the part that makes him think about you nonstop. From that day forward, he is not working toward the goal anymore. He is working toward being right about the woman who was right about him. You have braided yourself into his ambition. Every step he takes toward the dream, he is walking toward your voice. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel was married to a man named Derek for 11 years, and she told me, with tears rolling down her face, we are roommates. We are polite roommates who share a mortgage. Derek was a good man, faithful, paid the bills. But somewhere around year 7, the light went out of him. He came home, ate dinner, watched television, went to bed, repeat for 4 years. Rachel tried everything. Date nights, lingerie, counseling books stacked on the nightstand he never opened. Nothing. Then one Saturday, Derek mentioned, almost embarrassed, that he'd been tinkering with an idea. A small side business, woodworking, custom tables, something he'd loved since he was 19 and buried under 20 years of being sensible. And Rachel, who had heard me talk about this very thing, did not say, that's nice, baby. She did not say, well, don't quit your day job, which is what was sitting on the tip of her tongue, because 11 years of roommate life makes a woman cynical. And I understand that. She stopped. She looked at him, really looked at him, and she said, Derek, I believe in you. I've watched you build everything you've ever touched. I believe in this because I believe in you. Rachel told me the man's face did something she had not seen in a decade. She said it was like watching a frozen lake crack open in the spring. He didn't say anything. He just stood there in the garage, holding a piece of sandpaper, looking at his wife, like she had just handed him back a part of himself he thought was dead and buried. 8 months later, Derek had sold 11 tables, posted his work online, and listen to this, lost 20 pounds, started calling his wife beautiful again, and planned their first vacation in 6 years. 11 years of roommate. One sentence, 8 months. Now, did the sentence build the business? No. Derek built the business. But the sentence built Derek. The sentence put fuel in a furnace that had been cold for 4 years, and everything else, the marriage, the energy, the affection, the vacations, was just the heat coming off it. You know what Rachel told me was the strangest part? She said, now he calls me from the lumber yard. He calls me from the truck. He sends me pictures of table legs, Steve. Table legs. And I told her, baby, that's not about the tables. You have become the voice in his head that says his future is real. He is not sharing table legs with you. He is sharing proof with the woman who believed first. That is what nonstop looks like in real life. Not obsession, not desperation. A man whose every forward step routes through you because you are the one who said go. Now the third part, in you. Two little words that most women get completely wrong, and getting them wrong is the difference between a compliment and a coronation. In you means the belief is not attached to the outcome. It is attached to the man. When you say, I believe you'll get the job, you have praised the job. When you say, I believe in you, you have crowned the man. And the job is just one of the places the crown will show. This matters more than anything else I'm going to tell you tonight. So lean in. Men are terrified that they are only loved for their results. Every successful man on earth secretly suspects that if the money stopped, the love would stop. Every struggling man secretly believes he has to produce before he deserves tenderness. In you detonates both of those fears at once. It says, my belief is not riding on your next win. It is rooted in who you are when nobody's clapping. It says, if the business fails, I still believe. If the deal falls through, I still believe. Because I never believed in the deal. I believed in you. Do you understand what that does to a man who has been conditionally approved of his entire life? His father approved of touchdowns. His boss approves of quarters. His ex approved of his paycheck. And then you come along and approve of him. His essence, his engine, the man under the results. Baby, that man will remember the sound of your voice when he is an old man sitting on a porch. He will forget entire girlfriends. He will never forget it, the woman who believed in him with no scoreboard attached. Now I know what some of you are thinking because I can hear you through the screen. Steve, I said something like that once and he barely reacted. Sister, let me tell you about timing, because timing is the difference between water on a sponge and water on a raincoat. The three words land hardest in three specific moments, and if you spray them randomly, you dilute their power. The first moment is when he is about to attempt something and the doubt is visible. The night before the interview, the week before the launch, the morning he has to have the hard conversation with his boss. In that moment, his furnace is burning doubt, and your three words are not just fuel, they are oxygen. Say them then, and he will carry your voice into the room like armor. I have had men tell me, I was sitting in the parking lot before the biggest meeting of my life, and I heard my woman's voice saying she believed in me, and I straightened my jacket and walked in like I owned the building. That is not poetry. That is the actual mechanics of the male heart. The second moment is after a failure. This is the one nobody teaches, and it is the most powerful of all. Anybody can cheer a winner. Cheering a winner costs nothing, and he barely hears it because the whole world is cheering. But when he has just been knocked flat, when the deal died, when they picked the other guy, when he is sitting in the car in the driveway for 20 minutes because he doesn't want you to see his face, that is when I believe in you becomes immortal. Because in that moment, the words are not obvious. In that moment, the evidence disagrees with you. And when a woman looks at a man at his lowest and speaks belief against all the evidence, she has done something almost holy. She has told him his worst day did not change her mind about his best self. Men do not cry easily, but that is the sentence that breaks them open. And I promise you, he will think about that moment and that woman nonstop for the rest of his natural life. The third moment, and this one is for the woman who wants to be unforgettable. The quiet moment. No stakes, no interview, no failure. Just an ordinary Tuesday. Him doing something small, him talking about some little plan, and you, out of nowhere with no reason at all, saying, "You know what? I believe in you. I just do." That one haunts him because there was no script for it. He cannot explain it away as politeness or comfort. He lies in bed that night going, "Why did she say that? What does she see in me?" And now his mind is doing the work for you. He is building the case for you in his own head. You planted the seed and his own thoughts water it all night long. That is the loop. That is the non-stop. Now here's where most women mess up, and I need you to hear this with love, because I'm not saying it to shame you. I'm saying it to wake you up. Most women can't say these three words sincerely, not because they don't feel them, but because resentment has boarded up the door. You cannot say, "I believe in you," through your teeth. A man can smell a script the way a dog smells fear. If you say it while a part of you is thinking, "For all the good it'll do," he will hear the words and feel the vacancy. And vacancy is worse than silence. So before the words come to work, and the work is this, you have to actually look at the man long enough to find the thing worth believing in. It is there. In almost every man who is genuinely in motion, it is there. The way he handles his kids. The way he kept showing up to that dead-end job without becoming dead inside. The way he talks about his mother. The way he fixed that thing nobody asked him to fix. Belief is not pretending. Belief is noticing out loud what is already true. And that, sister, is the hidden gift of the three words. They don't just change him. They change your eyes. A woman who goes looking for what is worthy in a man starts living in a completely different relationship than a woman who catalogs what is missing. I am not telling you to ignore red flags. I have spent this entire conversation telling you to keep your standards sharp as a razor. I am telling you that with the right man, the man in motion, the man who has earned a seat at your table, criticism is not what grows him. Belief is. Water the right seed and you will not recognize the garden in a year. Let me tell you about Tasha, because Tasha almost fumbled the whole thing. And her story is going to save somebody watching this. Tasha met a man named Marcus, and Marcus was, on paper, a risk. Divorced. Rebuilding. Had a small landscaping business that was more hustle than money. And Tasha liked him, but her girlfriends were in her ear every week. "Girl, what are you doing? You could do better. He doesn't even have a real office." And Tasha started grading him. Every date became an audit. Every story he told about his plans got a polite smile and a private eye roll. And Marcus, who was not stupid, felt it. Men always feel it. He started sharing less. The plans got quieter, and Tasha came to me and said, "He's pulling away, and I don't know why." I said, "Baby, he's not pulling away. He's folding up the blueprints. You are the only woman he's showing them to, and you keep treating them like napkin doodles. A man will only unroll his dreams in front of a woman a certain number of times before he decides she can't see them. And when he stops showing you the blueprints, sister, the building is over, even if the dinners continue." Tasha sat with that. And to her credit, she did the brave thing. The next time Marcus mentioned a contract he was bidding on, a big one, the kind that could change his whole year, she put her fork down. She waited until he looked at her, and she said, "Marcus, I want you to hear me. I believe in you. I've watched how you work. I believe you're going to get it. And even if you don't, I believe in where you're going." She told me his hand actually stopped halfway to his glass. She said he looked at her for a long time and then said, real quiet, "Nobody's ever said that to me, not even my ex-wife, not once in 9 years. Marcus got the contract. But that is not the point of the story. The point of the story is what he told Tasha 6 months later. He said, "You want to know when I knew it was you? It was that night. Everything I do now, I do it wanting to prove you right." He proposed the following spring. And at the wedding, his best man gave a toast and said, "I've known Marcus 20 years, and I've never seen him work like this, smile like this, or talk about the future like this. Whatever you said to him, woman, keep saying it." That's the 3 words, ladies. That is not theory. That is not a fairy tale. That is a mechanism as reliable as gravity, sitting inside the chest of every decent man you will ever meet, waiting for the one woman wise enough to turn the key. Now, let me answer the question that is burning in some of you, because I know my sisters, and I know somebody is sitting there with her arms crossed saying, "Why is it my job? Why do I have to build him up? Who's building me up? Come here. Let me hold your face for a second, because that question deserves a real answer, not a lecture. It is not your job to build a man. It is your power to crown one. A job is something you do because you have to. Power is something you hold because you can. The woman who says, "I believe in you," to a worthy man is not doing unpaid labor. She is exercising the single greatest influence a human being can have over another human being. And here is what the arms crossed question always misses. The man who receives genuine belief from a woman becomes a fountain. Everything you pour into his furnace comes back out as heat in your direction. The belief you speak becomes the flowers on your table, the hand on your back in the grocery store, the man who starts texting you at lunch just to say the day is better with you in it. Men are mirrors, baby. They return what they receive, magnified. The woman who says, "Nobody builds me up," while withholding belief, is standing in front of a cold mirror, demanding it warm up first. And to the woman who has been poured out for men who poured nothing back, I see you. I am not talking to you about them. Those men were never in motion, and no sentence on earth was going to save a man committed to standing still. I am talking to you about the next one. The one whose Tuesdays show movement. The one who has earned your eyes. For him, you carry a weapon and a gift in the same sense. And it is a tragedy for you to holster it, because the last man was a thief. Now let me give you the language, because some of you are thinking, I can't just blurt out, "I believe in you" at dinner. It'll sound strange. Sister, you are right, and I've got you. The 3 words wear many outfits, and I'm going to give you the whole wardrobe, so you can dress them for your man and your moment. The soft version for the ordinary Tuesday. You know what I love about you? When you decide something, it happens. I believe in you. I always have. The armor version for the night before the big thing. Hey, look at me. I know what you're carrying into that room tomorrow, and I need you to know I believe in you. Not because I'm your woman and I have to say it, because I've watched you and I know what you are. The resurrection version for after the failure. Listen to me. This changes nothing. One bad day doesn't get a vote. I believed in you yesterday, and I believe in you today, and I'll believe in you tomorrow. So take a breath and remember who you are. And the haunted version, the one that lives in him rent-free forever, said quietly, almost to yourself, while he's doing something ordinary, I don't think you even know how much I believe in you. Each one of those is the same 3 words in a different dress, and every single one of them hits the furnace. Pick the outfit that fits the moment. Say it like you mean it, because you do. And then, and this is crucial, stop talking. Do not water it down with a joke. Do not follow it with advice. Do not add, but you really need to fix your resume. The 3 words are a complete sentence and a complete gift. Let them hang in the air. Let him sit in them. Silence after the words is not awkward, sister. Silence after the words is the sound of a man being permanently rearranged. And while we're here, let me tell you what to stop saying, because some of you are canceling your own magic with the very next sentence. Stop saying, I just don't want you to be disappointed. You think that's love. He hears that you expect him to fail and are forgiving him for it. Stop saying, that's nice, baby, while looking at your phone. You think that's neutral. He hears that his dream is background noise. Stop saying, well, as long as it makes you happy. That is the coldest sentence in a woman's arsenal, and some of you deploy it like weather. He hears your joy is your problem. And above all, stop telling his dream to wait for a more convenient season. Maybe when things settle down. Things never settle down. Life does not settle down. The dream is the thing that makes the settling worth doing. When you postpone his dream, you are not being practical. You are telling him the man he's trying to become can wait. And baby, a man who hears that enough times stops trying to become anyone at all. And then one day, you're sitting across from a stranger on your couch, remote in hand, soul in neutral, wondering where he went. He went where his dream went. You buried them together. Now let me widen the lens, because this is bigger than one sentence. And I want you to leave here with the whole map, not just one road. The 3 words are the master key, but a wise woman understands the building it unlocks. A man thinks about a woman nonstop when she becomes attached in his mind to his future self. That is the whole game. Everything else, the texting strategies, the waiting 3 hours to reply, the posting pictures to make him jealous, that is fireworks. Bright, loud, gone in 8 seconds. And nobody builds anything under fireworks. But when a woman plants herself in a man's vision of who he is becoming, she becomes load-bearing. You cannot remove a load-bearing wall without the whole house coming down. He cannot imagine the successful version of himself without her in the picture, because she was the one who believed the picture was possible before there was any proof. And listen, this is why the women who play games always lose the long game to the women who speak belief. Games make a man think about you tonight. Belief makes a man think about you for years. Games create anxiety, and anxiety fades the moment the game ends. Belief creates identity, and identity is forever. I have counseled men in their 60s who still light up, still sit up straighter, still get a little thunder in their voice, talking about the woman who believed in them when nothing else did. Some of those men didn't even end up with those women, and they still carry them like a medal. That is the depth of the imprint we are talking about. You are not trying to win his attention. You are trying to become part of his foundation. Attention wanders, foundations hold. Now, I need to speak to a specific woman for a moment, because she is watching and she is tired. She has given and given and given. She has encouraged men who never encourage her back. She has clapped for dreams that turned into excuses, forgiven failures that turned into patterns, and spoken life into men who use that life to love somebody else. And she is sitting there right now thinking, this sounds beautiful for somebody else. My believing days are done. Sister, come here. Look at me. Your believing days are not done. Your believing days are getting discerning, and there is a world of difference between the two. The problem was never that you believed. The problem was the address you mailed the belief to. You were FedExing diamonds to a vacant lot. That does not make the diamonds worthless. It makes the address wrong. The 3 words still carry all their power. You are just going to do what you should have been taught to do from the beginning. Deliver them by hand, in person, to a man whose Tuesdays proved he was building something before you ever said a word. Your belief was never the mistake. Your belief is the treasure. Guard the address, not the treasure. And I want you to notice something about everything I have taught you tonight. Not once have I told you to